Let's be honest, artificial intelligence isn't just a buzzword anymore, is it? It's everywhere, being woven right into the fabric of how we do business. But all of this incredible speed has a dark side, a whole new frontier of complex risks that frankly demand your attention. So let's dive in and break down what you really need to know.
And listen, this isn't some far-off trend we're talking about. This is today, right now. A staggering 78% of large companies are already using AI in at least one critical part of their business. Think about that for a second. That's almost 8 out of every 10. From supply chains to customer service, AI is here, and its footprint is only getting bigger by the day.
So, here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll look at what we're calling the AI gold rush, why everyone's racing to get in on this. Then, we'll peel back the curtain on the hidden price of all that progress. From there, we'll get really specific about your biggest vulnerabilities. And don't worry, we'll wrap it all up with a clear, straightforward executive action plan. All right, Section 1. So let's start with the big question, why? What's fueling this massive corporate race to adopt AI? Well, it really comes down to a specific type of AI that has completely changed the game and made this tech more accessible than ever.
We're talking about commercial off-the-shelf AI, or COTS AI for short. You can just think of it as plug-and-play AI. You know, these solutions are pre-built, they're already trained, and they're designed to be dropped right into your business operations. All of a sudden, you don't need a huge in-house army of PhDs to get started.
And the business case for these tools, it's incredibly compelling. Instead of spending, say, 12 to 18 months building a custom model, you can have a COTS solution up and running in a matter of weeks. The cost savings are just massive. It turns AI from a giant capital expense into a predictable operating cost. And on top of all that, you get instant access to the latest and greatest features, because you're piggybacking on the billions in R&D that vendors are pouring into their platforms.
Okay, so it all sounds pretty great, right? Fast, cheap, innovative, but there's a catch, and it's a big one. This incredible speed comes with a hidden price. As we all race forward, security is struggling to keep up, and that's creating a new and really dangerous landscape for leaders like you to navigate. And I'm not talking about a small gap here. This is more like a giant canyon. Get this. Cybersecurity experts are forecasting that by 2025, over 90% of organizations will be dealing with AI-driven cyber attacks every single day. This is a fundamental shift in the kinds of threats we're facing, and we just can't afford to look away.
For any leader, this really translates into 4 big new buckets of risk. You've got data leakage, your sensitive company or customer data just walking out the door. You've got the very real risk of getting hit with massive fines for not complying with regulations like GDPR. Then there's the compromise of your secret sauce, your most valuable intellectual property. And finally, you're up against a whole new breed of supercharged, constantly changing threats that traditional security was just never built for.
So let's make this real. We're going to dive into 2 concrete examples of how these off-the-shelf AI tools can open your organization up to some serious harm. And just to be clear, this isn't theoretical stuff. These things are happening right now. First up is something called data poisoning. The simplest way to think about this is somebody contaminating the AI's brain. An attacker isn't hacking the code. They're sneakily feeding bad information, corrupted data, into the AI's training process. The goal is to secretly teach the AI the wrong lessons, either to sabotage its decisions or, even more cleverly, to create hidden back doors into your systems.
Let me show you how this can cause some real-world damage. Take this retail case study. An attacker manages to inject a bunch of fake sales data into the system. The company's AI, not knowing any better, sees this and forecasts this massive demand for a product. The company trusts the AI's output, so they go and overstock 50,000 units of something nobody actually wants. The result? A direct, painful hit to the bottom line. All because the AI's knowledge was poisoned.
Now, the second big vulnerability is, in many ways, even more insidious. And that's because it often happens without any hacker at all. It's the simple and frankly terrifying fact that when your employees use these tools, your intellectual property can become part of the vendor's training data. Just look at this cautionary tale of a company we'll call Innovate Tech. An engineer, trying to be efficient, uploads a confidential draft of a new patent to a popular AI writing assistant to help clean up the language. It seems private, it feels secure. But buried deep in the fine print of that vendor's terms of service, there's a clause that lets them keep and analyze all user content to improve the product. And just like that, your company's crown jewels, your most valuable IP, is legally exposed and has been absorbed into someone else's dataset.
All right, I know we've outlined some pretty scary stuff, but now let's shift gears and talk about the solution. This is not about stopping innovation, it's about enabling it securely. So here's how you can build an actionable plan for your team.
So as a leader, you're watching your teams adopt these powerful new tools at lightning speed. What's your role in all this? Where do you even begin to get your arms around such a complex issue?
Well, the very first thing to understand is the shared responsibility model. Sure, the vendor is responsible for securing their platform and patching it, but your organization, you still hold some really critical responsibilities. Rigorous data governance, for example, that's your shield against data poisoning. Continuously checking the AI's output, that's how you spot when something's gone wrong. These are duties you simply can't outsource.
This leads us right to procurement, where you have to be proactive. Your teams need to be asking these tough questions before any contract gets signed. That first one, who owns the data and the outputs? That's your main defense against that innovate tech scenario. You have to be crystal clear on data rights. And the other questions are just as crucial for managing risk when, not if, an incident happens.
So, to sum it all up, here are the 3 high-level actions that leadership has to champion. First, you have to inventory and assess every single AI tool you're using, especially the shadow AI that IT doesn't even know about. Second, you have to implement that rigorous vendor due diligence we just talked about. And third, you have to drive proactive, ongoing employee training. Your people are your first and last line of defense against those accidental IP leaks.
Look, your organization's AI adoption is accelerating every single day. So that leaves you with a really critical question. Is your security strategy keeping pace with it? Or is your most valuable data, your intellectual property, your entire reputation already at risk? The time to act is now.